It's national meets regional. It's Sidewalks Entertainment, the long-running celebrity, music, and art series. Join us for a new path to arts and entertainment.
Love you, Fluffy! Woo!
We love you, Fluffy!
We love Fluffy!
People tried to warn me about going over there. Gabriel, be careful. India is a third world country. Don't drink the water in India. It contains parasites that'll make you really sick. Don't eat the food from the street people, especially the street meat. It contains a parasite that'll make you really sick. And most importantly, there's a lot of crime over there. Don't stay out late. When the sun goes down, you go down. I'm like, is it that bad? Parasites. So I'm like, let me get this straight. There's a lot of crime. Don't stay out late. Don't eat any of the food from the street vendors. And don't drink the water. Why does that sound familiar? That's Mexico!
Our guest today is a multi-talented actor and comedian whose successful career just continues to skyrocket. And he's with us today to talk about all the great things happening in his life and career and about bringing his stand-up comedy to the big screen in a feature film called The Fluffy Movie. I'd like to welcome Gabriel Iglesias to Sidewalks.
What's up, Cindy?
Gabriel! So glad to have you on Sidewalks today.
Thank you for having me.
So I know that you come from a big family, and you know, with big families, life is not always easy. Did you find that comedy sort of helped you deal with those struggles that you may have had growing up?
Absolutely. It's the only reason why I haven't gone insane altogether. I mean, I'm the last of 6 kids. I grew up with my mom, single parent, and basically I almost grew up like an only child because everyone was so much older. I was the bonus child of the family, if you will.
I like that. Now, you know, congratulations also on the success of your weight loss. I know that you have been working really hard to try and get healthy. Was obesity something that was always a problem for you kind of growing up, and were you ever bullied as a kid as a result?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and for all the viewers watching, looking at me going, weight loss? Well, how big was he? Yeah, I maxed out at 445 pounds. I'm 110 pounds lighter now, and definitely growing up, you know, I was always the chubby kid, the big kid, and so of course I heard every name in the book, and I was always poked fun at. And I mean, in addition to being overweight, I also had really bad teeth at the time, and fortunately, I no longer got the chupacabra effect going on now that they fixed my grill. But yeah, it was rough. And comedy for me was always that whole, it was a great form of acceptance. When I was on stage and I was performing and people were laughing, it was like, finally, we're cool, it's okay. And you know, it definitely helped me out a lot.
So as a kid, you know, you experienced that bullying situation as so many other kids do. What kind of experience or advice would you give to kids that may be suffering today?
You will get through it, and you're not alone. And if something is getting physical, you need to tell somebody. You can't just let it keep going on and going on, because that's when kids get into really bad situations. Again, if somebody's putting their hands on you, you need to tell somebody. And again, you're not alone.
Your style of comedy reminds me so much of like a Latino Bill Cosby, for example. I just am such a fan of what you do. Who were some of your comedy influences growing up?
My biggest influences growing up, and it's crazy because I try to work very family friendly, but my biggest influence was Eddie Murphy. And if people don't remember Eddie Murphy as a comedian, he was very, very dirty. And so to get influenced by one of the dirtiest comedians in the business, and me being one of the cleanest comedians in the business, it's kind of crazy. I was very much impressed by his voices and his characters and his stage presence, and he had total command of the crowd, and they chant and cheer for him, and I said, I want that. I wanted to be Eddie Murphy so bad when I was a kid, and so to be in the position now where I'm doing a stand-up comedy concert film, and I know that only a handful of people have gotten to do that, one of them being my idol, I'm floored.
For sure. The Fluffy Movie. Why make a movie?
I think the fact that I didn't go looking for it, the fact that the companies came looking to me to say, would you like to make a comedy concert film?
I found out that Frankie is very sensitive about his mom. And he's at the age right now where affection really bothers him. Not necessarily from me, because if I try to hug him, he's cool with it, because I give those quick bro hugs, you know, like, hey, what's up, you know? However, if his mom is standing right next to me and I reach over and I grab her hand, he sees that as gross, and he'll make the face. What? Ah. The hand? That's gross, Dad. I go, that's not gross, Frankie. That's not gross. Baby, open your mouth.
It was very surreal because, you know, the holy grail for comics, it's always, let's do the HBO special, let's do the Comedy Central special, maybe even Showtime. But no one ever says, oh, I want to do a comedy concert film, because you don't think it's possible. There's maybe been 5 comics that have done it successfully. And, you know, to be put in the position where I'm being offered that chance, I couldn't pass it up.
You had a couple of guest comedians that were in this film. I know Tommy Chong, Ron White. They must have been just a ton of fun to work with.
Yes, and it's so cool because now Ron and I are chatting a lot more through Twitter, and just we're going to start, you know, working on projects together. And Tommy, I go way back with, and the fact that they both agreed to be in my film, in addition to Ray William Johnson, who's a YouTube sensation, and now he's acting, doing movies. So I got a nice little group of cameos, and of course I snuck in all my buddies into the beginning of the movie. So you're going to see some familiar faces in there.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Fluffy. We're going to use that with little, you know, air, whatever you want to call them. Fluffy is the cornerstone of your comedy bits. Was this nickname a nickname growing up, or where did sort of Fluffy originate from?
Fluffy's a nickname that I've had now for about 16 years, and it was just something cute that my mom said one time, and it stuck. I went on stage one night, and I did the joke about what my mom had said about how, you're not fat, mijo, you're just fluffy. And at the end of the night, no one said, hey, good job, Gabriel Iglesias. They'd only say, good job, Fluffy. And for me, it kind of bothered me because I'm like, you know what? Half my name is already famous. I just got to work on the first part. And nobody would listen. They just call me Fluffy, call me Fluffy, call me Fluffy. And I didn't like it. And I'm like, oh, if that joke wasn't so funny, I would just kill it altogether. And eventually, I learned to get over it, and I learned to embrace it, and I learned to market it. And now it's to the point where everything has that word attached to it. All my specials, Hot and Fluffy, I'm Not Fat, I'm Fluffy, Aloha Fluffy. And of course, now the guy gets his own movie. What else is he going to call it? Fluffy movie. So, yeah, it worked out.
Well, we have to talk about Magic Mike. Were you surprised that you got an opportunity to be in a major motion picture like that?
I wasn't so much surprised as I was just like, I was flattered. You know, again, I think that's the reason why I tell a lot of comics that are starting off, listen, you got to pay attention to what happens off stage as much as what happens on stage. And what I mean about off stage is they got to get more involved with their own promotion. So it's important to be attached to Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and use all these resources, first of all, because they're free. Secondly, because that's the wave of the future. Hollywood came looking for me. I didn't go looking for Hollywood, which is an amazing way to put it. So for me, I know that I was doing the right thing. I was doing the right thing by focusing and doing my own thing, and then people took notice. And of course, when I got that call from Channing Tatum, hey, you want to be in a movie? Heck yeah. Do I got to get naked? He goes, no, even better. Perfect.
Now, there's talk about, obviously, they're planning to do a second one. Are we going to get to see you in it? Are you coming back?
Am I coming back? It looks pretty good. There's no 100% yet, but it looks very, very possible. And I've said it. I'll get naked if I have to. I'm not shy. I'll do it. I don't care if they call it Tragic Mike. I am down for my crime.
Would you like to do more acting projects in the future? You had such a good time on this Magic Mike thing.
You know
what?
Would you do more? Acting is cool, but it's not my passion. My passion is a stage. My passion is getting up in front of crowds every single night and doing my thing. I think it's more so because I have full control as far as, like, you know, it's up to me to decide what I want to do and how I want to do it. And I just love it. I love instant feedback, whether it's positive or negative. I know at that moment how I'm doing. And with acting, you got to wait till it comes out, and then you're sitting in a theater and you're listening to people like, okay, are they laughing at that? Or are they reacting to that? And it's cool, but again, it's not my first choice. It's comedy, then voiceover work, which I love because it's quick and easy and the pay is amazing. And then it's acting. So, you know, so maybe somewhere down the line I'll learn how to sing, and I'll make that part of the list too. But, you know.
Oh my gosh.
If I get offered some more stuff, I'm totally up for it. But, you know, I'll never stop doing comedy.
Gabriel, as we close, what kind of career advice would you give to other rising comics that are out there that love what you do and want to take their craft to the big stage?
Well, as new performers, I can only speak for comedians, not anything else. But as comedians, you want to basically make sure that you go out there. If you're new, don't offend the crowd. You know, you just make sure you go out there and talk about yourself as much as you can. Stay away from topical material that you can't work on, and of course, you know, try to keep it as clean as you can. Eventually, down the line, when people know who you are and you want to get dirty, go for it. But in the beginning, you're going to win more fans by leaving the F word out. Trust me. And
I love it. Gabriel, thank you so much for being with us today on Sidewalks. It is such a pleasure. I truly wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Remember, PG-13. Whoop, whoop.
Bye-bye.
For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit sidewalkstv.com.